Hello everybody, this is going to be an Irregular at Magic High School episode 2 review. I hope I made some mistakes in episode 1. Many comments told me I made some information mistakes, and I actually did. I apologize for that because I'm very brand new to this new anime information thing, and one of them would suggest I should watch this kind of thing, and I go yeah, took a look at it. Didn't really take a look at it, but decided to do some research and information on what these people are and so forth. But everything seems to be tight knit overall. I'm gonna get more info later, and apologize for the first video of the episode 1, Irregular at Magic High School. But this is going to be my second review. Please bear with me. And alright then, let's get started. But before we get started, previously last week's episode, we got into a point where Tatsuya is just like a weed or something. We all say we get some history background of what magic did to the world in its overall and so forth. Great way to start off, And at the end, we get to a point where there was going to be a fight. There was going to be a huge fight, but Tatsuya decides to say, "Oh, it's some kind of crazy horseplay, we're just messing around with each other." But he seems to be regular, like nothing else is happening. And then we get to the beginning where Tatsuya said, where Tatsuya and the others might get disciplined probably, but Miyuki comes up and said, "Oh, nothing bad happening. I apologize, And later, the disciplinary leader Mari Watanabe says, "What's your name?" He said, Tatsuya tells Mari his name, and she said, "I won't forget that." Later by that time, the guy who likes to be all like a punk or something, and I really called him a brown punk bastard because his hair is brown and he's really being a total jerk, and so much discrimination of blooms and weeds, and his real name is Shun Morisaki. And I said, okay, that's okay, bloom person. So I thinking Miss Shiba should hang out with us, and I was just thinking, Doc, just because she may be not a weed or something doesn't mean you should be some kind of arrogant bastard for once, Then we have a new character. I believe she's little and she's brown hair. Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. And her name is Hanoka Mitsui, or Mitsui Hanoka. And she goes she was being all blushy and funny and so forth. And I'm just thinking oh man, don't tell me that she's in love with him, And she's all saying, she calls him Big Brother, and Tatsuya tells him, "Don't call me Big Brother. We're just first year course students, whatsoever." Correct me if I'm wrong. I apologize. Later on, she's saying, "Hey, can I walk with you to the station?" I'm like, oh my gosh, what in the world is going on? I'm just laughing. Then the introduction starts playing, and it's actually the same thing with the ending, and I just go oh wow, that's pretty cool, I don't even have to explain it, because I explained that in my first review of Irregular at Magic High School. So everything seems to be cool, By the time we have all these people start walking, and later Chiba mentioned something about Tatsuya reading something about looking at her weapon she's using. Something about scions that I'm not so familiar with. And Miyuki gives more detail about something about a helmet splitting technique that's known to be a secret skill or arcane arts overall, It's something that I'm not too familiar with, and I thought it was pretty interesting, all these new magic ideas and information that I am getting, it's pretty much hitting me in my brain and hitting me in the head right now. Besides that, we get to morning time, and the president comes in and wants to have a war with Miyuki, and Tatsuya came along, and there are these brand new characters come in, like one's the dark hair person named Suzuki Ichihara, but nickname known to be AKA Ring. And of course, y'all know Mari Watanabe. She's like the disciplinary committee as always. Then we get to this orange hair that we saw in episode 1. I just go like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. Asusa Nakajo, or Nakajo Asusa. I think I got the name wrong or mispronounced it. I'm sorry. Like, correct me how to say it. You know, like, this is like pretty hard for me to pronounce the names that I'm not so familiar with. But she's also given AKA A-chan or A-chan, which was pretty funny. She goes like, hey, don't call me that name, you know, I have a reputation to prepare or to commit or to maintain. I'm like, girl, what kind of reputation do you even have for everyone to know you or to think you're so cool, you know? Oh man, I'm just laughing hella hard right there. And later we get to the point where Mari Watanabe ends up explaining about like about some 3 officers or something. One's called the extracurricular activities. The other one's faculty committee, and the chairman system or something. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, I'm sorry that if I messed up. Then we get to the point about like about Miyuki wanting to join the student council, you know. But before that got into hand, there was some kind of guy that's known to be the vice president named Hanzo, and I go like, huh, sounds kind of cool. New character come in later. Like there's a situation where Yuki wants to bring her brother in, you know. And before we get into any of that, I know this is kind of disorganized. I'm sorry. I'll try to be organized in the next couple of videos, though it's gonna be a little complicated, you know. There was this funny scene about like Rin, aka Suzute Ichihara or something, aka Rin, you know. That person says like Tatsuya and like Miyuki are acting like lovers than siblings, and Tatsuya said, if it's not by related blood, I would love to have her as my lover. Everybody went into shock, and we go like, huh, and later on it goes like, oh, that's just a joke. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that was like the funniest thing. That's like a funny thing I ever seen right there, you know. But some of y'all think it's like disgusting. I think it was funny, but it's pretty cool. And Miyuki and A-chan's like, and you know, but Miyuki sounds a little more depressed for some reason, you know. Like, if you read more about her, then you know what I'm talking about, you know. By that time, like we get back to Mari Watanabe. I explained some of the other things like in a couple seconds ago, you know. Wants to bring Tatsuya into the disciplinary committee, you know, and he seems to be kind of like complicated, not knowing what it is. And the president will explain that once you talk with A-chan or A-chan, you know. By that time, we get to the part where like people practicing the magic using these kinds of, I don't know what to call it, but it's like moving the object with like what you got, you know. And Tatsuya seems kind of like is not really as confident, you know. He seems to be like, oh man, you know, this is too slow. I can't seem to do this overall, you know. And we get to meet Hanzo. We get to meet the vice president, or you know, a brown-haired guy. I thought he was the same guy, but I guess not. I'm pretty sure the hairstyle will stay the same and his expression on his face. But when you look at expression, he seems really like in discomfort of seeing him around. I go like, you got a problem with him, you know? Like, what's up, man? He ends up having an argument with Mari Watanabe, saying like you shouldn't say my full name, and his full name is Hanzo Gyobi Hattori, and or otherwise I don't know how to say his name correctly, or formally as usual. Sorry about that, but you see here, he seems to have an issue with like Tatsuya in the disciplining committee. He's like saying, "Oh, this weed whatsoever can't do anything. Like, what makes you think he could like and be part of this like disciplining committee? We need like someone that could actually use magic and be calm about these situations." Mary Watanabe tells him, yo, he has an ability to actually read a person's like procedures or moves of magic. So someone like him like could be useful on that thing, like common sense. He seems to be he seems to be really discomfort again, telling the president, I'm not saying this is a good idea, it's a bad idea. We should not have him in the disciplining committee. I am against this. And Tatsuya comes up to him and said, how about you have a little one-on-one match with me? By the time he says, and the face that Hanzo Gyobi Hattori just made, it's like, what did you just say? You want to go one-on-one with me, you know? And Tatsuya says, you mentioned that a magic user has to be very calm and willing to like be part of a good disciplining group, you know? I'm like saying, oh, you're getting told out, you're being called out right now, and Hattori's all like being confident, saying, oh, this is gonna be easy, I'm gonna kick your ass or something. Miyuki's all saying this is her fault, you know, when Tatsuya and Miyuki was like walking to where the fight is gonna be, you know? And later Tatsuya says, hey, it's not your fault, you know, it's not. So take it easy. You always get angry when it comes to my place, you know. Pats on the head and then touch a cheek. I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be one crazy big thing, you know. Later on, we get to the room, and Mari explains the rules, like whoever cannot fight anymore, blah blah blah, will win. And Hattori was like planning his strategy, you know, planning out everything, and he says, I'm gonna destroy his movement, make him fly from 10 meters, and that's about it. And when the battle began, Tatsuya moved like crazy superhuman speed, and then somehow knocked him out, you know. He only had like a pistol or a gun that I'm not too familiar with, and that guy only had his like wrist to some kind of wristwatch or whatever it is that allows him to use his magic. But Tatsuya just ran towards him, went behind him, knocked him out somehow. I'm like saying, woo! You just got pwned or owned right there, son. You cut right there. Cut, man. That is like one of the craziest things what a person can do. Like, one thing for sure is like you trying to think you're confident and underestimate this person, thinking you could kick his ass, and you have these kinds of strategies. But for a person to know what your move is or to analyze what you're doing, you know, get me wrong, that person is pretty much gonna kick your ass. Period. Like straight up. Like if you already saw what Tatsuya did, dude, and he is declared the winner. I'm like saying, this is what you get for being like a cocky, arrogant bastard right there, you know. Sorry for my language, you know. It's like I find it really hard about these weeds and blooms having to be discriminated. Like I understand some may have done bad, but you may never know like what the weaknesses are, you know. It's like goes with other people is not a problem overall. I thought this episode was pretty cool, you know. Like everything seems to fit. Good progression, you know. Good progression. Way to go with the fight at the end. Like total ownage right there. Tatsuya, Shiba, you're just like a person that even without magic, you still kick ass, man. Like you seriously still kick ass. And by that time, we get to see the ending of the song, you know. And I thought it was cool. The music flowed, and I loved it. Hope you guys loved it. This review is like episode 2 right here. I'm going to give this one 5 out of 5. Loved it. Saw the action of it. Totally annihilated that vice president, man. And he's a weed, and you're a bloom. What a joke, man. Are you sure? Are you sure that you should be a Bloom? You know, and we get a little preview, though not much of a preview, but the episode title is called Enrollment Part 3 overall. So I love this episode. Hope you loved it. Hope you enjoyed this review. You know, everything seems to flow. Everything seems to flow. I cannot wait for next week's episode. Like, it's just keep getting interesting and interesting and interesting. You know. Hope you all have a good day. Enjoy your afternoon. I am Alpha Zero Forum. Peace out, people.